All right, so we got welcome guys. So we got Paul here. So Paul is one of our one-on-one training students. And we've been helping Paul with sort of transitioning out of his 9 to 5 and being able to like prioritize his time a bit better. Paul, do you want to give a quick introduction?
Hi, my name's Paul. I'm currently a security guard. So I'm a shift worker. I do a 2 days, 2 nights, 4 days off doing 12-hour shifts.
Hmm.
And I reached out to Adman because I really needed to get some help in the developing my business, which I'm currently
Yeah.
doing.
So like let's start from the beginning, Paul. Like as far as like what like before we started working together, what were you doing?
Well, before I started working with you, I was kind of mainly stuck in a rut. I was looking for change. And
Hmm.
if I recall, we met, might have been February or March in 2022 at one of
Yeah, Nelson's.
Morgan's events
Yeah.
down on the Goldie. And you happened to be one of the speakers. And there was a number of courses on offer there. And it seemed like a good idea to reach out to you to get me out of the rut which I was in because I'd been working security at that
Mm,
stage for a few years, and I'm actually originally a chef by trade, so the security gig was only meant to be a
yeah.
short term thing, and it's kind of stayed a bit longer than I anticipated.
So like what frustrations were you having when we first met? Like what was going on?
Oh, my frustrations was mainly lifestyle. Like I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
Hmm.
The position that I've got is very stagnant, as in like I'm never going to go anywhere. And I was just basically seeking change in my life.
Yeah. What was going on there though? What was happening in like the background as far as like when you're sort of looking for change?
Oh, there was a lot happening in the background. Like I just split
Mm.
up with my wife. I just was trying to basically reinvent myself
Mm.
and do new things.
So
So
time. So like you're pretty short on time.
um, wasn't short on time because I was always having 4 days off. It was just
Mm.
like I really didn't know what to do with my time.
I'm with you. That makes sense. Like so when we're looking at it for you, like 'cause like we when we met with there's a lot of people who were kind of offering and helping and like offering like help for you as far as like starting your business, those type of things. Like why did you go with like us and me?
Why don't I go with you guys initially because it was a means of creating an income
Hmm.
when a lot of the others were kind of courses, self development. But this was more of I saw it more as a transition way of
Yeah.
getting out of what I was doing because I wasn't happy. I don't know if happy was the word. It was more so the job that I was doing was not fulfilling,
Mm.
and I needed to get out of it. And I saw that
Yeah.
the an initial course which I did with you was a means of getting out of that space.
Mm. So describe what it was like working with us and everything. Like how was that for you when you actually pulled the
I
trigger?
What I liked about it was the first course that I did was it was a group course. So I think there
Mm.
was 5 or 6 of us, if I recall. It was for a couple of hours on a Tuesday, Thursday night. So
Mm.
I got to meet people, so that was important at the time. I got to work with people, got to see different perspectives, and just learning as a group in that group
Yeah.
dynamics was really good. We also caught up on a monthly basis down on the Goldie, which I did on one occasion. The rest of the
Mm.
time I did it through Zoom because I'm Townsville based. But
Yeah.
just the creation of the community was really good, and
Hmm.
most of those people I'm still in contact via Facebook, which is pretty cool. And
And what was the
you know,
biggest like so far? What have been what is like what the biggest takeaways for you? Like what did you value the most when you were going through all that?
um, I think just a new skill set
Hmm.
I developed. I developed sales skills,
Hmm.
and yeah, I guess it gave me more confidence as well.
And so for you in your future business and like when you're growing your business and like getting things off the ground as you're like transitioning out of your like 9 to 5, like what have been like the biggest takeaways for you like so far? Like what's your favorite part?
So far in the on the one-on-one things,
Mhm.
it's I enjoy the accountability. I enjoy the I think and the tools that I gave him that I've been given by Adman. The productivity packs really helped.
Mhm.
So it gives me the opportunity to look at. I actually call them 8-day goals because I work on an 8-day rolling roster.
Yeah.
But for most people, that would be weekly goals. So there's weekly, monthly, and 3 monthly goals. So that
Mhm.
I like. Also, I like the fact that we catch up weekly in this space, and
Yeah.
it really doesn't matter where, because we're catching up via Zoom or some sort of Zoom. It really doesn't matter where we are,
Yeah. Makes
as
it a
as
lot
as
easier,
long
right?
as long as we can schedule a time. It doesn't matter where we are.
Yeah. And that's the beauty about it because like you're not able to like you don't have to sit there actually doing what you're doing. Like we have to be at your job like consistently trying to like be showing up to somewhere. And even with like previously when I think you mentioned like you're working, you're sort of feeling like you're always having to show up for people, whereas now you're kind of showing up for yourself. Would you say that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like when it comes to like looking at like the next for steps for you, where do you kind of see yourself taking this and taking everything in your business?
The next steps for me would be getting my business online and
Mhm.
using it and having the business as my primary
What,
income.
what do you do? What's your business?
What am I? Oh, my current business, the business that I'm currently developing
Mhm. Yeah.
is a scuba dive bag business. And like scuba diving is a passion that I've had for many years. And I wanted to establish a business that I'm passionate about.
Mhm.
So it's basically at the moment it's a drop shipping business that I'm developing,
Yep.
and from there, what I'll ultimately want to do is actually design my own style of dive bags.
Yeah. And when it comes to like the transition into like building out the brand and getting things up and running there, like do you feel like you've been able to manage your time properly to get things off the ground properly, or were you feeling like you're struggling a little bit at the beginning?
I was basically struggling in that space at the beginning, and
Mhm.
I must admit I'm slowly progressing. He's also got one thing that I also liked. He gives you resources. The resources have been good. I'm listening more to the point, a podcast called MFCEO,
Mhm.
and there's a daily critical task list. So I do that, and I found that to be a
Yeah.
real game changer. And even
Mhm.
just listening to someone, like obviously I can't catch up with Adman every day because that's unrealistic. But
You
to
wish.
have a podcast in my ears every day, it's almost, it just,
Mm.
I mean, it's a classic example of, you are the average of the 6 people you hang around with. So if you
Yeah.
can put good people in your ears, I mean, there's at least one good person you're hanging around with on a daily basis.
Sure. No, and I think that's one of the most important things that you've done. Like I've seen like shift wise is like you've actually like started listening to more people that are like pushing the boat faster for you or like speeding up the boat for you, so you're actually able to start doing more things. Um, like when it comes to like for you, anyone that was in a similar situation to you, or anyone that like was like in that sort of in between phase of like trying to transition out of their jobs and like kind of getting the business off the ground but not being able to manage themselves properly, like what would you say to them, knowing what you know now?
Oh, I just get a mentor. Like,
Mhm.
it just cuts through all the bullshit trying to figure out yourself.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've changed that found actually. Like, you can just sit there and bang your head up against the wall and try and figure it out yourself, or you can,
Yeah.
get a mentor and say, hey, this is the issue. How can we work through this issue? And then you can just move on instead of just sitting there scratching your head for the next 3 weeks, trying to solve a problem which you don't even know.
Yeah. So is there someone
And
on is there
and
someone on
and
the
that's
fence?
another big thing. Like, when you're trying to do it on your own, instead of focusing on the solution, you can get stuck in focusing on the problem.
Hmm.
which is counterproductive.
Yeah. And when you're sitting, if someone's sitting on the fence, kind of like iffing and umming about doing this and getting like actually jumping in, like what would you say to them?
Well, your future self will thank you for it
Why? Why do you reckon?
because if you don't act now,
Hmm.
you'll be in the same spot as where you are, until you act. And how long is that going to be? Is it going to be a week, a month, a year? Who knows? It's your choice. You can either act now and your future self will thank you, or you can not act and your future self will hate you because of it, because you'll be in the exact same spot as where you are now,
Yeah.
and until you do something about it.
So if there's someone out there like who's in a similar spot to you, like what like as if you're having like a one-to-one with them right now and sort of having that conversation of like how how likely would you be with like looking to recommend us further
You just,
to helping them?
just, just do it.
Hmm.
Like get past the whole what it costs or whatever, and
Yeah,
just do it.
you
Because
heard it
that's
first.
often that's often the hardest thing. It's like, oh, the whole
Hmm.
money, the whole return on investment. I've been in that space so many times and haven't
Yeah,
acted when I should have acted, and my future self never got to thank me because of it.
well, you heard it first from Paul. Any other closing thoughts? Anything else you want to share?
No, not really. Just do it.
Do it. There you go. All right. Well, appreciate it, Paul. Looking forward to everyone. Stay tuned for Paul's next move when he's actually got the business up and running. We're gonna go keep going through this and seeing him progress and grow and scale the business. But from here, if anyone has any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. And appreciate it, Paul. Thanks for coming on. I know your time quite valuable. So thanks a lot.